8 times when fighters humiliated their opponents. The outcome of every mixed martial arts match is simple in its design. One man wins and one man loses. The winner walks away with pride, a sense of accomplishment, and the recognition that comes with victory. The loser, on the other hand, experiences disappointment, frustration, and a sense of defeat. However, it's not always that straightforward for professional fighters. There are times when losing can be accompanied by other emotions, such as shame, emasculation, and utter humiliation. These moments can be hard for fighters to endure and can have a lasting impact on their careers and self-esteem. But as they say, laughter is the best medicine, and these moments also provide a humorous look at an otherwise serious and brutal sport. Mixed martial arts is known for its intense physical demands and the extreme level of skill required to succeed. But even the most skilled fighters can experience moments of embarrassment, whether it's due to a technical mistake, a misjudgment, or simply being overpowered by their opponent. So sit back and enjoy the moments when pro fighters humiliated their opponents. Let's start, shall we? Number 8. Rampage Jackson. When Shogun Rua and Rampage Jackson faced each other at Pride Total Elimination 2005, MMA fans were treated to a remarkable and unforgettable moment in the sport's history. They witnessed an unprecedented defeat of one of the most dominant fighters in mixed martial arts. Shogun put on a masterful performance and showcased his striking prowess, which is widely regarded as some of the best in the sport. Despite Rampage's reputation as a formidable opponent, he was unable to make a dent in Shogun's defense and was thoroughly dominated and humiliated in the fight. The damage that Shogun inflicted on Rampage was brutal and relentless. Shogun's knees to Rampage's body were particularly effective, causing significant harm and weakening him throughout the fight. In a matter of minutes, Shogun's relentless attack had its desired effect, as Rampage was unable to withstand the relentless punishment, and he was eventually defeated by a barrage of knees and soccer kicks to the head and face. Number 7. Koji Oishis' bizarre game plan. Koji Oishis is remembered by MMA fans for having one of the most unconventional and unusual game plans in the sport's history. His fight against Diaz remains one of the most peculiar and talked about fights to this day. The bizarre game plan that Oishis adopted for this fight left everyone in disbelief. Someone actually convinced him that he could block Diaz's powerful punches by simply punching them away. This unusual strategy was met with skepticism by fans and commentators alike, and it quickly became clear that this was not an effective approach to the fight. Despite Oishis' confidence in his unorthodox game plan, the reality was very different. Diaz quickly overpowered Oishis and knocked him out in the first round. The outcome of the fight left fans stunned, as Oishis' game plan was quickly exposed as a complete failure. The fight against Diaz was a turning point for Oishis' career, and he was promptly cut from the UFC following this disappointing performance. The fight will always be remembered as one of the most bizarre moments in MMA history and serves as a cautionary tale for fighters who adopt unconventional game plans without fully considering their effectiveness. Make sure you stay with us right till the end, as we'll be covering the highly brutal fight-off between the two greats, Khabib Nurmagomedov and Conor McGregor. Number 6. The overconfident Adrian Broner. Adrian Broner, also known as The Problem, is a professional boxer who's renowned for his exceptional talent and unmatched confidence. He's never shy when it comes to expressing his beliefs and has a brash and bold personality, especially during the lead-up to his fights. Broner's arrogance was on full display in 2013 when he faced Argentine fighter Marcos Maidana. Going into the fight, Broner was undefeated and considered a rising star in the boxing world. He was showboating at every opportunity and was undoubtedly confident in his abilities. However, Maidana had other ideas, and he proved to be a formidable opponent for Broner. In the second round, Maidana knocked Broner down for the first time in his career, sending shockwaves through the boxing world. From that moment on, the fight was all Maidana. He dominated Broner, exposing the flaws in his overconfident approach. Despite Broner's best efforts, Maidana went on to win the fight, handing Broner his first professional loss. It was a humbling experience for Broner, who was forced to reevaluate his approach to the sport. Number 5. Cheap shots. Cheap shots equal cheap returns, and in this fight between Alex Hanan versus Andrei Mikhailovich, Alex was kindly humbled to his knees. He took a super low and cheap shot right before the bell had rung that cost him quite a bit later on in the fight. You find him taking a left jab right to the face, and it gave him spaghetti legs with a side of mashed brains. He stayed in the fight for a decent amount of time, and we commend him on that. For sure by that time, however, he had to have been operating on self-driving mode until the ref had to just call it in. He just couldn't sit there and allow for Andre to keep pummeling this guy. We, of course, wouldn't have minded, I'm sure, right? Number 4. Naoki Sano. Yui Sano's fight against Royler Gracie at Pride 2 was a peculiar one, as Sano's behavior in the ring was unlike anything fans had seen before. He was like a zombie, not in the sense of the Korean zombie who's known for his ability to endure heavy strikes without showing much pain, but in a different way. Throughout the fight, Sano was repeatedly struck in the face and the strikes clearly had an impact, yet he failed to respond in any meaningful way. One would expect a fighter to respond in some way to a punch to the face, given that they're trained to protect themselves and defend against such attacks. However, in this case, Sano was unresponsive, leaving fans stunned and confused. Royler Gracie took advantage of this strange behavior and put a beating on Sano, leaving him battered and bruised. Despite the constant barrage of strikes, Sano never reacted, leaving fans to wonder what was going through his mind at the time. Number 3. Khabib vs. McGregor. The highly anticipated bout between Khabib Nurmagomedov and Conor McGregor took place at UFC 229 on October 6, 2018. The build-up to the fight was intense, with both fighters engaging in a war of words leading up to the event. Khabib, who was the reigning UFC lightweight champion, was known for his dominant grappling style and unbeaten record in the octagon. McGregor, on the other hand, was a former two-division champion and one of the biggest stars in the sport. The fight itself lived up to the hype, with both fighters trading shots in the early rounds. Khabib's grappling proved to be the difference as he took McGregor down and controlled him on the ground for much of the fight. In the 4th round, Khabib secured a rear naked choke, forcing McGregor to tap out and concede defeat. However, the post-fight brawl that ensued overshadowed the actual fight. After the bout, Khabib jumped over the octagon fence and attacked McGregor's corner, sparking a melee in the crowd. McGregor also threw punches at members of Khabib's team who'd entered the octagon. The Nevada State Athletic Commission suspended both fighters for their actions and fined them. Khabib was suspended for 9 months and fined $500,000, while McGregor was suspended for 6 months and fined $50,000. Despite the suspension and fines, the fight remains one of the biggest and most memorable in UFC history. Number 2. The hilarious Hugo Duarte. Mark Kerr was once one of the most feared fighters in MMA. His wrestling skills and overall athleticism made him a very dangerous opponent, and unfortunately for Duarte, he agreed to fight Kerr while he was in his prime and at his most dangerous. When these two met at Pride 4, we saw Kerr dominate from the get-go, and Duarte actually gave up. How do we know this? Because Duarte actually tried to leave the ring on several occasions and made complaints throughout the majority of the fight. Then we witnessed one of the worst cases of sportsmanship when Duarte actually feigned unconsciousness to try and get the referee to stop the fight. That's insane. Number 1. Anderson Silva vs. Demian Maia. Anderson Silva's performance against Demian Maia is something that's brought up by many when criticizing him. Demian Maia, like Thales Leitus, knew it wouldn't be smart to stand up and trade with Anderson Silva. Maia wanted to get the fight to the ground, where he's somewhat of an expert. Anderson Silva registered this, and the taunting had begun. Silva ran around the octagon and was showboating the vast majority of the fight. However, Silva managed to hurt Maia quite badly in this fight, even though a very small number of strikes were thrown. Silva retained his title, but Dana White was so appalled with Silva's performance that he refused to ceremoniously put the belt around Silva's waist and instead gave it to his manager. That's it for the video, guys. If you liked what you saw, make sure to give us a thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe to our channel and press that notification bell. See you in the next one.